Raspberry pants? Those are cool. I like them. Where'd you get them?
At your grandma's house.
Oh, my grandmother. She cycled from my grandmother. All right. Okay, so don't forget this goes till 2 o'clock. And Ben is only going to talk for 45 minutes, which tells you I've got about 17 minutes of hair on fire content to wrap this up. And you guys didn't see a slide that I've got that's pretty cool that I painstakingly took a tremendous amount of time and had Denise make. So, because I do nothing and I take credit for everything, which is multi-level marketing personified. I am like Tom Sawyer and Becky Thatcher and the white picket fence and the lemonade. You guys remember that? No. Good God, what stories do you read to pickle? You need to read the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. It's unbelievable. Write that down. Even more than that psychiatrist book. You'll thank me. Anyway.
Wait, I remember when I sent you this, it's one of those things.
Denise, come up.
But no.
Oh, Denise, stay there.
I made a huge to-do list today. I just can't figure out who's going to do it.
That's what you guys said. I made a huge to-do list today. I just can't figure out who's going to do it. And I'm the great delegator, and I do that. And that's the name of the game in this business. You know, people call me all the time and go, oh, I know how busy you are. And it's hilarious, because if they knew how busy I'm not, they'd be going crazy. Because I delegate everything, and I surround myself with people far better than me, and that's all of you. So having said that, we've got Ben Fuchs. He's our keynote, our highlight, our beautiful man, our unbelievable soul, incredible guy. What you don't know about him is you know so much about nutrition. He knows skincare. When you see his skin, you're just going to want to kiss him. He just is unbelievable. Then you're going to see his knowledge of compounding pharmacy. You're going to see his knowledge of nutrition. But he is going to lead you into my final slide, because what he is 10 times more than that, because he is a spiritual being with an unbelievable access to personal development, and that's his secret weapon. It's not his skin. It's not his knowledge of nutrition. It's his soul. And guess what? Every one of you have one. That's the exciting part. You can't be Ben Fuchs on the outside, but you can be on the inside. Ben, how are you, baby? I'm going to marry you. Here we go. And you need to lose a little bit more weight. Right. No, I'm just kidding. He looks great, doesn't he? You know what? Every time I come to these Super Saturdays, I usually have kind of an idea of what I want to talk about, and I hear all these wonderful things that people say and changes everything. So I heard a couple keywords here, and before I start, how many of you guys know what longevity used to be called?
American longevity.
American longevity, right? 2 words, American longevity. And it represented the parallel paths that this business is on, America and longevity, and I grew up in this intentionally. He called it American longevity because America represented financial independence to him, the ability to have whatever you want if you would work hard enough to get it. And longevity represented to him longevity, health. And so longevity has these 2 parallel paths that it takes. It takes the path of health, and it takes the path of the physical health and then of financial health. So when I talk, I like to talk about a lot of things that Tom is right on, and it really is all about personal development, the way I look at it. And when I talk, I can talk about personal development, I can talk about health, because I got these 2 kinds of skill sets. So what is it that you guys want me to talk about? Health and nutrition, and why longevity products can change people's lives from a health perspective, or how you can make money in the business using some of the strategies that you learned, a lot of the strategies that you learned here today, but the basic ideas of nutrition and health that drive the company. Do you want to talk about making money, or do you want to talk about having a great body and being healthy? Because I can do both, but I can't do both with justice in 45 minutes. It's up to you.
Money.
Which one? Money? Money. Raise your hand if it's money. I'm going to tell you how to make money in this business. I'm going to tell you how to be great in this business. I'll tell you how easy it is to be great in this business. Raise your hand if you want to know. Or would you rather know how easy it is to be healthy and live a really long life and be really super strong? Oh my gosh, it's 50-50.
Surprise, surprise. I guess I should have expected it to be 50-50. All right, so first of all, let me talk about the money side, okay? I noticed something. I've been in the business for 20 years. I've been in the business for 21 years, actually, since 1998. How many of you are actively doing business? Okay, so how many of you are guests? One, Lily. Hi, Lily. Okay, so good. All right, well, you probably know a little bit about my story, but I've been in the business for 21 years, and I'm not going to bore you with the details of how I got into it, but I will tell you that in 21 years, I've noticed something about the people who make money. There's two kinds of people. There's people who make money, and there's people who don't. Now, that's kind of a generalization. There's people in between, but that's, you can kind of categorize the people who participate in any business endeavor, but in network marketing and longevity, there's people who make money and people who don't. What I noticed is there's the people who make money have one very interesting characteristic. Want to know what that is?
Yes.
Really, is that it? You want to, yeah, I mean, this is really interesting. You want to know what this is if you're in the business. What is it that the people who make money have from the viewpoint of somebody who's seen people come and go and people make money and not make money for 21 years? What it is the people who make money are leaders. They take a stand for something, and they most especially take a stand for somebody else. That's what they do. This is what Tom does. I kid, every time I see him, I say I want to marry him. And what I mean is, I want to marry somebody who takes a stand for humans, for human beings, for people. Why is Tom successful? Tom is mega successful because he takes a stand for people. Why is Juliet successful? She takes a stand for people. She's here for you. And this is what it means to be a leader. To be a leader means that you know that something will really benefit somebody. You know it deep inside, and you can't live unless you tell them. Tom, does that sum it up? This is what it is to be a leader. But it takes cojones. I can say that right, church? I'm okay. It takes intestinal fortitude. It takes wanting to stand up and present yourself and express yourself and be who you are, and not everybody wants to do that. I was kidding around. The last time I did a talk here, and I absolutely love doing talks here, by the way. Is that amazing? Like, I get to talk right in front of him, and there's pictures. There's pictures of this right behind me. It's really cool. When I did my talk here last month ago, how many of you guys were here when I was talking about public speaking. When we public speak, people who public speak, and you can vouch for this, public speakers, when you're out in the audience, you can see that there's a connection that's being formed, a bond that's being formed because you're taking a stand. By virtue of you taking a stand, you have everybody in the audience right there with you, for better or worse, because it can be embarrassing. You can face ridicule. You can face embarrassment, shame, humiliation. But if you're really a stand for everybody out there, you don't care. You'll do it anyway. They tell the joke, they say, for public speakers, if they are nervous before they public speak, they say, pretend your audience is what? Naked, right? Not that you ever want to see some people naked, you know, right? But when you see them naked, you're outside of yourself, you're there for them. They miss the point. It's not that you're seeing them naked, it's that you've left your body and you're there with the person. And this is what it means to do public speaking, and this is what it means to be a leader. At any given moment, we have choices. Always have choices. We're always making decisions, and to simplify things, and I like simplifying things, as you know, to simplify things, there's only two choices at any point. There's only two choices. It's either yes or no. What a leader knows how to do, or what a leader is compelled to do, is to get people to say yes. This is what it means to be a leader, to be a stand for somebody to participate with a yes. And in order for that to happen, one thing has to occur, and I was really happy to hear Juliet bring this up, because this is the crux of the matter for anybody who wants to accomplish anything from another person. And I kid around, I say the object of life is to get the other person to do what you want without pissing them off first. That's kind of like a little joke I think of, but that kind of sums it up. We're all in this sales persuasion relationship all the time. We're always trying to get people to say yes all the time. And if you can figure out how to get people to say yes, you'll never fail. You'll make all the money you want. You'll have all the great relationships you want. You'll have all the greatness, whatever you can imagine in your dream book, in your dream wildest imaginations. You'll have it. Get people to say yes. And there's only one thing that's required to get people to say yes. And this is where you will make your money or not make your money in longevity or anywhere else. The one thing that's required to get somebody to say yes is what Julia talked about. It's called value. You have to show the other person value, that it's valuable for them to say yes. If you're not making money in what you're doing, you haven't shown value. You have not demonstrated value. If I tell you here's $1 million, all you have to do is give me $1 for it, but you said, oh no, I'm too busy. I heard that before, I'm not going to do that. No, because it's obvious what the value is. In some decision-making propositions, it's not that obvious what the value is. So the job of a persuader, somebody who wants to lead, somebody who wants to succeed, is to somehow show value in what your proposition is. If you want to teach people to be physically fit, you got to show value. If you want to keep people to participate in your business, you got to show value. If you want people to buy your product, you got to show value. So the only question is how do we show value? Seems easy. Well, it is easy, but there's one prerequisite to being able to show somebody value. What is that? The answer was belief, and you're on the right track. It's not quite belief, but you're on the right track. You have to think it's valuable first. You have to find the value of it. If you have found the value of it, you will be an incredible persuader for showing other people the value if you take the leadership on. If you've taken persuasion on, it's just a question of value, but you have to have the value first. And if you're not succeeding in your business, you haven't gotten the value yet, or you don't have the perceived value of it yet. And this is the block, the sticking point. You can do all the affirmations you want, you can do all the classes you want, but if you don't see the value of what you're selling yet, you're not going to be able to show anybody else the value of it. You get it? This is what's missing. So you have to have the value. And this gets us into the products. Now am I a persuasive speaker? Yes. Am I persuasive about longevity? Yes. Am I persuasive about the beyond tangerine? When I tell you you need this stuff, is it believable? Do you want to do it? Why? Because I've seen the value for 21 years. I get the letters. I see the blood pressure drop. I see the people lose weight. I see what they were before and I see what they were after. Do you think I see the value in my own life? And I hear the stories at convention. And you hear about Juliet or, was that you? Nicole, right? What's that, something dropped on your head, right? Look how beautiful, you can't even tell. What was it, 6 months ago, 7 months ago? I've seen this over and over and over again. And what it means is, you can't be like in the sense that I see thousands of people a year, but you can find the value yourself first. You have to participate yourself first. Dr. I keep forgetting how to say your name, Kuravila? Dr. Kuravila is here. Doctor, medical doctor. He's here every Saturday, every Super Saturday. Every time I come to Super Saturday, I learn the most incredible things. What is this? Why am I here? Why is Dr. Kuravila here? Value. We get value out of participating in this. You have to participate in the program to get the value so that you can show other people why it's valuable. There's people screaming in their ear all the time. You got to show people why what you're offering them is valuable, and you can't do it if you don't see it as valuable yourself. Are you with me? You get this? So if you want to participate in a productive fashion in anything, from the standpoint of being a leader and a persuader, your job is to get people to say yes at the decision point, at the bifurcation point, and you do that by showing value, but you have to see the value in it first. Good? Okay, so when people come to me, a lot of times new people, how many people are in the business for 6 months or less? A year or less? A year or less, okay. They said, what do I do? How do I get into the business? How do I start making money in the business? I always tell people, Find something you like. Or hopefully you have something that you really like already. Find a passion in health. Your dad had Alzheimer's disease. You have diabetes. You lost a bunch of weight. You cleared up your skin. Whatever your particular approach is, whatever your particular passion is, become an expert in it. And the good news is, because we're all unique individuals, and we all have our own predilections and preferences, it won't take long for you to be an expert. You can become an expert, a recognizable expert in Alzheimer's disease in 2 weeks. You just study up on Alzheimer's disease for 2 weeks. Go to a nursing home, start talking to people about Alzheimer's disease. Read books on Alzheimer's disease, get on the internet. Do the same thing with diabetes, do the same thing with weight loss. Do the same thing with skin problems. Become an expert in something and then take a stand that people can somehow be better off for that. As a leader, take a stand. Anybody can do it. A child can do it. A child can teach you about making lemonade, whatever it is. We all have something we like. Find what it is, and then become an expert in it. Now, when you start to operate the business this way, something else, you will definitely succeed in the business, but something else will happen. You'll start to succeed in life. You'll become a better human for doing it, for taking a stand where nobody else is taking a stand, for standing in front of a crowd and trying to get them to see the value in what you see the value of. Do you see, this is much more than making money in longevity and doing cold calls. And this is what Joel was talking about, mindset. Joel's expertise is physical fitness. So he's doing exactly, I said that to him when he was on this talk. What a beautiful thing. He took his love, he took his passion, and guess what? In a year, Joel is going to be standing on stage at the convention, talking physical fitness and doing exercises and teaching people how to move their bodies and get healthier from the stage, right? What's that going to do for your downline? When you want to be in a downline like that, people be coming to you. This is how it's done. And you have to get that first before you start to push the product or push the concept or push the comp plan or push anything else about it. You have to take a stand for people. And you have to take a stand based on what you see as valuable. And it takes cojones to do it. It takes cojones to do it, but in 21 years, that's what I've seen. Those are the people who make the money. All right, so that being said, I'm all about simplification. Did I simplify that, by the way? Yeah. All right, I'm all about simplification, cutting to the chase. And I do that with nutrition. People have come to me, obviously some of you, and you've probably heard, they come to me for nutritional advice. And I have a radio program called The Bright Side where we give nutritional advice. And one of the things I like to do is simplify the world of nutrition and the world of health. So what do? Somebody comes, I'm going to give you a little hypothetical. This is what I deal with all the time. What do you do if somebody comes to you, they got high blood pressure, they're 100 pounds overweight, everything they eat makes them feel nauseous, their skin is really lousy, and their hair is falling out. What pack do you put them on? Basically, that's it. Do we have a hair falling out, high blood pressure, weight loss, finger and toenails turning fungus, skin looking crappy pack? No. No. We got to start looking at the body as a whole and not our symptoms. If you want to simplify this whole thing about health, and it is very complicated, but it doesn't have to be because all our bodies are generic. We all have the same heart, we all have the same lungs, we all have the same liver, we all have the same intestines. There's biochemical individuality, certainly, but within the structural components, there's a generic nature to the body, so there's a generic nature to the breakdown, and there's a generic nature to the build-up, which is great news for non-medical people. You don't need a diagnosis, you don't need a doctor. You just gotta get the body better. I don't care if it's stage 4 cancer or it's acne. It's got the same job, is to get the patient feeling stronger, to get the body better. And because of the generic nature of the body, it's not complicated. Everybody needs certain things. Everybody. And this is the secret weapon for longevity. For you guys who want to participate in longevity, here's a secret weapon for you. The body, all our bodies, are set up so the more deficient we are in nutrients, the faster the body sucks them up, like a dry sponge sucks up more water than a wet sponge. Can you picture this? This is our nuclear bomb. Because most people are so nutritionally deficient anyway, most healthy people are so nutritionally deficient that you put a high concentration of nutrition into their bloodstream in a fast liquid fashion. Liquids go into the bloodstream much faster than solid foods do. If you give somebody a high density, high concentration nutritional drink that is in a liquid form that goes into the bloodstream super quickly, you get quick results within minutes. Within minutes, you have a product. We have a product in longevity called Beyond Tangy Tangerine that you can sell that will change most people's lives palpably and visually within minutes. Most people. Now, if somebody's been supplementing or they have some ideas about health, they're not going to notice things as quickly. But most people aren't there yet. And if they're sick and they're on prescription drugs, one of the dirty little secrets of prescription drugs and one of the unknown features of disease is it robs your body of nutrition. So you may take your beta blocker because it slows down your heart and it lowers your blood pressure, but your beta blocker depletes your B vitamins, which are important for your heart and your blood pressure. That's how medicine works. This is the secret, the dirty little secret they don't show you in the side effects, that you'll be suffering from deficiency issues that the medicine was supposed to cure, the medicine was supposed to take care of. What that means is, if somebody gets on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and they've been on a beta blocker, they're going to be especially sensitive to the results. They're going to especially notice it. Go to a nursing home. Those people are so malnourished. I mean, literally malnourished. Go to a nursing home. Watch what happens when you give somebody you know or somebody you don't know somebody on Tangy Tangerine right in front of your eyes. You'll see like a plant. Like when you ever leave your plant unwatered for a week and then you put water in the plant and right in front of your eyes, you can see it starts to bloom or its leaves start to perk up. That's what you notice. Now, you need Beyond Tangy Tangerine to do it? No. It's the best, but you can do it if you want to put something together. Do you need the Healthy Start Pack to do it? No. You have a Healthy Start, you can go to the internet, and Longevity hates when I say this, but everybody knows. You can go anywhere and get all this stuff. What Longevity has done is it's made it simple. It's easy. You don't have to brain damage it. And it gives you the basic nutrients that everybody needs. This is what the mighty 90 essential nutrients are, the things you need every day. You're simply giving yourself the raw materials you need to run your body. It costs you $120. If you can't show somebody the value of that, then you haven't experienced the value yet yourself. So get with the program. If you have a health challenge, that's great. That's great if you have a health challenge. You're boring if you don't, and you're probably oblivious to a certain extent because everybody's got something going on. But if you have a health challenge, that's awesome. How many of you guys have a health challenge without naming it? How many of you have a health challenge here that you want to do it? That's awesome. Because the way the body is set up, if you just follow a few simple steps, you will feel better. And you will know you will feel better because it's you feeling better, but your brain will say, but my cholesterol score is too high. Or my blood pressure score is too high. Or I still have inflammatory factors in my blood, but you'll feel better. We've allowed the medical model to make the goal for us. See, the medical model has a goal. They call that a cure. And if I were to say cure, I would be in jail. I'd have to call somebody up to bail me out because I would be in jail. Because cure, the word cure is owned by the medical model. They own that word. And they don't believe anything can be cured in terms of long-term chronic diseases. There's no cures for long-term chronic progressive diseases. This is a medical fact or medical dogma. But you see, when you understand how the body breaks down and you understand your diagnosis doesn't matter and you understand the generic nature of how the body is when it's healthy and how the body is when it's sick, you don't even worry about the diagnosis. You just want to get better. You just want to have more energy. You just don't want to feel sick all the time. You just want to be able to throw your kids up in the air and catch them. You want to be able to sleep well. You want to be able to be creative and whatever it is that you want to do with your life. Who cares about your diagnosis? It's like you feel great, but you have a diagnosis, and we think we're sick. We have no diagnosis, but we feel crappy, so we say we're healthy. Because we've allowed the people who are selling us the medicine to tell us what the goal was. We don't need medicine to achieve the real goal because medicine can't touch deficiencies. There's no medicine for deficiencies. You get this? Anybody who's on a prescription drug needs to understand there's no medicine for deficiencies. And if you're on a prescription drug, then you must not believe that the cause was some deficiency. Now, it could be a nutritional deficiency, and it could be toxicity causing deficiencies. Taylor was talking about toxicity earlier. It could be toxicity causing deficiencies, but at the core, a cell is not getting what it needs to do its business. Body's made up of, I'm not gonna, is that you talking about cells? Cells are so amazing, it would take me an hour just to give you a touch of the amazingness of the 100 trillion little entities that make us up. But at the end of the day, how healthy we are, how unhealthy we are is a function of what's happening at the level of the cell. And if you're not healthy at the level of that cell, you're deficient. Even if it's toxicity that's involved, and there's all kinds of toxins in the water and in the air, at the core of it is because cells are not getting the vitamin C and the minerals and the amino acids and the fatty acids. That's biochemical fact, that's not my opinion. And at the end of the day, if you've taken that medicine and you either don't believe that or you've just bought into whatever the medical model is telling you, which is unfortunate because it flies in the face of what we can see with our own eyes. It's hidden in plain sight that our medical strategies don't work, but we still deify the medical model. And I'm not here to rip on doctors because doctors are good people for the most part. I mean, there's bad apples everywhere. For the most part, they went into the business to help people. It's the paradigm. It's the model. And we're complicit. It takes two to tango, right? You got to participate. And they have all the theories and concepts they want, but if we're not standing in line at Kmart or Albertsons to pick up our prescription drugs, there's no pharmacomedical model. So it doesn't do us any good to rip on them. We have to begin to take the ball into our own court, and it's not that complicated. So, that having been said, anybody who's sick, no matter how terrible it is, first thing beyond tangy, first, get them some nutrition. Get them, if you can't get somebody, based on what I just told you, if you can't get somebody to see the value of $60 for Beyond Tangy Tangerine, you got to either see the value yourself or you got to start handing it out for free and seeing the value in other people. And that's not a bad strategy either. Buy a jug of it yourself or buy a bunch of those little envelopes and hand them out and watch people. And then the third, you hand it out to 3 people. And the fourth person, you are going to be the most passionate, persuasive speaker that you could have ever imagined because you will have seen 3 people have their blood pressure drop. You're like, dude, 3 people got off their medicine and had their blood pressure drop. How persuasive is that if you're talking to somebody who's on blood pressure medicine and doesn't want to be on it? So the first thing is the BTT. It's liquid, it goes right to work. It bypasses digestive problems. And many people, if not most people, have issues with absorption. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know they have issues with absorption because they're gluten-free. And they're under the impression, they're under the impression that being gluten-free is all they need to do. It's not. So after the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, you start to work on the gut. And this does several things. This does several things for your patient, for your client. Number one, it shows them the relationship between their lifestyle and their symptoms. And when people are living their life, they don't notice that avocados make them bloat, or that celery gives them rashes, or that kale makes them feel tired because they're gluten-free and they're vegetables and they're organic. They don't notice that. So when people start to pay attention to their diet, and I always recommend a fast first, and then doing what's called a food diary, where you write down everything you eat and how you feel. What this does is it demonstrates to people, number one, that they have an impact on how their body shows up. Their lifestyle choices can make them feel better or worse. That's step number one. Step number two, it shows your potential clients, or point number two, it shows your potential clients that you know what you're talking about. But wait a minute, I stopped eating and my rash started to go away. I stopped having oatmeal for breakfast or strawberries or whatever it was I was reacting to, and now I feel better. The rash is gone, I got more energy, whatever. You demonstrate to your client that you are there for them and that you can help them. You are now valuable to them. You're giving them some BTT, they're feeling energetic, they're starting to see the relationship between their arthritis and their food choices they're making. And then third of all, and most important to me as somebody who's a persuader, who practices persuasion every day, And whether it's intentionally really wanting somebody to do something or just suggesting something, it's still persuasion that I'm doing. It's like, if you're a single guy or a single girl, here's a secret for never getting the member of the opposite sex to turn you down. You know, that's a big freak out, right? People, they don't want to get turned down, they want to get rejected. So here's a little secret for you guys or girls who are single, want to ask somebody out, you don't want to get rejected. This is a foolproof, anti-rejection way to get a date. Ready? Only ask people out who already like you. You'll never get rejected. Isn't that key? You make sure they like you, and then you'll never get rejected. Well, sales is the same way. Go to people who already like you, who are already predisposed, who already want to hear the message, who you've already helped. There's plenty of them. They're waiting for you. You beat your head against the wall, people don't want to hear from you, and there's plenty of people over here who want to hear from you, who need to hear from you, not just want to, need to. So you only go with people who want to be with the program, and when you tell them to do a food diary and fast, you weed out the riffraff. Because now you see this person's vested. This is a person I can work with. There's plenty of them. There's plenty of people you can't work with. Don't. Maybe you could persuade them when you get really good. It could be a challenge for you, but why? You know, later on, it might be challenging and fun to do that, but if you want to build your business, find the millions of people who need Beyond Tangy Tangerine, whose life will change. But the only way you're going to do it is if you believe in it yourself. If you see the value of it yourself. If it's not working for you, you're trying to sell something that you don't see valuable enough to be able to persuade somebody else. Because if you had $1 million and you said, I'm going to give them that $1 million for $1 back, you'd have no problems. You'd have takers everywhere. You wouldn't be afraid to say anything because you know you were bringing value. Get that? Okay, good. So, food diary vests people. Food diary demonstrates to your customers or your clients that you know what you're talking about. And food diary shows the client the impact they have on their life. Their choices have on their life, and how their body shows up. Now, the digestive system is very tricky because you may think you're eating clean, but you don't know what was in the factory, or you don't know what they fed the chicken. You don't know what they sprayed on the avocado or on the peanuts. You can't go by lists. You have to go by your body's reaction. Listen to your body, like Taylor said. Listen to your body. Speak body. Pay attention to your body. The fast helps because it's kind of resets things. It resensitizes you to things. So don't go by lists, go by how you feel, and that's why a food diary is so important. There are supplements that you can take that will support the digestive process. For example, there's obvious ones, Ultimate Enzymes. Ultimate Enzymes with meals will help you break down proteins. When proteins aren't broken down effectively, they leak into the blood, and they create immune reactions in the blood. From those immune reactions in the blood, you get all autoimmune diseases. So if you think, oh, I have multiple sclerosis, but she has hypothyroidism, and they're totally different diseases, you're wrong. They're both signs of an immune system gone haywire secondary to dirty blood. The blood becomes dirty from incomplete digestion, and enzymes can help you with that. Digestive enzymes also can help you with inflammation and pain. So as a pharmacist, I'm always looking for multifunctionality. I love supplements that have multifunctionality, that do lots of things. See, when you take a drug, you don't get that. When you take a drug, you get an effect, and then you get toxic side effects. But when you take digestive enzymes, for example, or other nutrients, which I'll pop in here in a second, you get multiple benefits. So digestive enzymes are great for pain. They're great for dental pain, back pain. They're great for accelerating healing post-surgery. So if you're going into surgery, take your digestive enzymes, extra digestive enzymes, a couple weeks or 3 weeks or a month before surgery, and then a month after, you'll heal much faster, you get much less bruising. Even if you take your digestive enzymes after your surgery, you didn't load up on, you'll still get accelerated healing. And of course, digestive enzymes help you digest your food, but they need acid, so always take your digestive enzymes with apple cider vinegar or something acidic. Of course, the probiotics and the essence everybody knows about. I could do a good all-day seminar on the importance of probiotics. Suffice it to say, nothing else works without effective bacteria in the gut, replacing them, filling the putting them into the intestine on a regular basis is very advisable. Nightly essence for longevity is a great probiotic supplement, as well as fermented foods. You guys, I don't want you to forget, this is for everybody. Everybody. This is a program for everybody. And this is a program that I am guaranteeing you with 100% certitude, not 99.9, 100% certitude that if you do this program, no matter what your health challenges are, you will begin to feel better, no matter what, and it won't take very long. This is how the body's built. It's not me. It's not even longevity. It's how the body works. So, digestive enzymes, probiotics, digestive enzymes with apple cider vinegar. Then there's some supplements for the digestive system that nobody knows about for the digestive system. For example, did you know that glucosamine builds a strong, healthy intestine? Did you know your glucogel is a very important intestinal support supplement? Glucogel caps. I love multifunctionality. You better believe I'm all over that. For leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut syndrome is little holes develop in the gut. Glucosamine, chondroitin, manganese, there's something else in the gelatin in the glucogel caps all help build the digestive lining. Did you know gelatin is also important for the digestive system in general for helping you digest your food? It's a digestive support aid. The glucogel caps are great for the digestive process. And, bonus, the glucogel caps are the premier quintessential longevity anti-wrinkle product. How do you like that? If you're an esthetician out there, you can put your own label on top of the glucogel caps and call it Lily's anti-wrinkle capsules. How do you like that? And of course, you get other bonuses because your heart sits on a structure of connective tissue. The glucogel caps work by building connective tissue. Your heart sits on a structure of it. When the connective tissue in your heart starts to deteriorate, you'll have arrhythmias. You'll have tachycardias. You'll have fibrillations because the electrical conductivity of the heart is not flowing as it should. Taking the glucogel caps can help you with these kinds of rhythmic problems, heart rhythm problems. Taking the glucogel caps can help strengthen the arteries so the body doesn't have to put cholesterol in the arteries. It's one of the best anti-cholesterol supplements you can take. Whenever you take the glucogel caps, take it with your Beyond Tangerine because vitamin C and glucosamine work together. So you work on the digestive system. The next step is you move to the blood sugar system. The blood sugar system is the most ironically disturbed part of our biochemistry. It's clearly very disturbed in most people, and ironically because it's all our doing. How can our blood sugar go awry if it doesn't involve us? This is a myth we have about how the body breaks down. The body breaks down gradually, and so we lose our connection with our participation because the breakdown is so gradual. It's like, I was just sitting here watching TV, minding my own business, and I got fibromyalgia. I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting here. Nothing. And all of a sudden, arthritis. It just came. Must have been my genetics. Must have been my mother. She had arthritis. We lose connection with our participation. And when it comes to blood sugar, that seems so ironic to me because it's your blood. How can the sugar go awry in the blood? How? Logically, not as a medical person. How can it happen? You have to be putting sugar in the blood. How do you put sugar in the blood? It's the most obvious thing to me, but yet we have, and I still get letters every day from people, what do I do about my diabetes? Well, it's the most obvious lifestyle-connected disease that you could possibly come up with because it's your blood and it's your sugar. How does sugar get in the blood?
Eat it.
Am I missing something? Doesn't it seem like it's so obvious? I can't for the life of me understand why I get questions from people not in this room perhaps, but people on letters and on the radio, how do I take care of my diabetes? So what do? First of all, recognize that diabetes is just a word. And this is an exemplification of diagnosis and the flaw of diagnosis. You see, we take it for granted that you go to the doctor. Think about this. We take it for granted. You go to the doctor, you sit in the chair, he asks you some questions, he does some tests, and he gives you a diagnosis. We take that for granted. If he doesn't give you a diagnosis, says you're healthy. We take it for granted that this is how it's done, but it wasn't always done this way, doctor. Have you ever studied the history of medicine? This is called nosology. It's a science. Diagnosis is a science, and the notion that we get diagnosed with our illnesses is a modern convention. It's a way for the pharmacomedical model to classify people and to give you specific protocols, but it doesn't help us get better. So they'll tell you if your blood sugar is 119.9999999, you're okay. But if it's 120, boom, you're a diabetic. Sit with that for a second, right? It's 120, you're diabetic, you get medicine for diabetic, you get surgery if you need surgery, you have interventions done, your insurance companies pay different premiums, and you pay different premiums for your insurance companies. A whole sequence of events is set up because you went over this magic point where you're now a diabetic. What we don't understand is the body breaks down gradually. So your blood sugar is off way before a doctor pronounces you as a diabetic. And so you say, what do I do? Well, here's what you do. If you have a symptom, your blood sugar is off, period. The only two places, which is really one place when you think about it, where our bodies get thrown off physically is at the level of the digestive system and at the level of the blood sugar system, and everything else is secondary. Did you hear that? That is powerful information if you're sick. That's powerful information if you're a therapist. That's powerful information if you're in the business. And I don't want you to believe me as an assertion. I don't want this to be, I'm just telling you this. I want this to compute. The only two places where the outside world gets into the inside world to create a change is through things we put in our mouth, which means sugar and the digestive system. Unless you're sticking things in IV. If you're sticking things IV in a rare case where you're breathing some horrible toxin or radiation, the vast majority of the time when we have a chronic condition that doesn't get better, it's because of issues at the level of the digestive system, levels of blood sugar, and that makes the healing process so simple, a caveman could do it. I said that, but that's the kind of simplicity I'm talking about. Anybody can do it, and you don't need a doctor. And guess what? I'm guaranteeing you, as I'm standing here today, I am guaranteeing you with 100% certitude that no matter what your health challenge is, that no matter what anybody's health challenge is, if they will do just these few simple things, eliminate problem foods, do a food diary, support digestive health, stabilize the blood sugar, keep the sugar from coming in, use sugar metabolizing nutrients, just those few simple things. Get on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Not even the healthy start pack, just start with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I am guaranteeing you that your patient or you or whoever, your customer, whoever it is, will begin to feel better and feel better quickly because it's in the nature of the body. It's how the body works. And if you're not somehow succeeding in your business, you haven't communicated that message with enough value. The value has not gotten through, probably because you don't see the value yourself. Because to me, the greatest thing, the thing that brings people the most joy is to help other people, is to see other people smile. That's built into us. It's built into us. To see other people smile. We get oxytocin going, we get serotonin going, we feel good. So if you can't communicate the value of this proposition, given that it's built into us to want to help people, it's built into us to want to make a difference in the world, it's built into us to want to make people feel better, the only other option is we haven't seen the value ourselves. So how do you get to see the value? Be a leader. Start sharing. Give stuff out. Become an expert in some particular field that you like, and go to talks at Vitamin Cottage or Whole Foods, or even free at the library. You get free talks at the library. Begin to engage. Begin to see how much value longevity brings to the table. And then look at Tom, and Denise, and Juliet, and Scott, and James, and all the people out, and Joel, and Nikki, and people who are participating, and Devin. Have you noticed that there's a family that comes regularly and that sticks together? This is what it's about. We are all in this together because we all have the same attitude of wanting to make the world a better place. So if it sounds like you, and you're not succeeding in what you want to do, find the place where you can bring value, take a stand for making other people feel better, be better in their life. And if it takes you finding value in it first, find the value in it yourself first. All right, thank you guys very much. That was awesome. Appreciate it. I'll take the question. Does that make sense to everybody? Cool, thank you. Yes.
Question online. You want to know?
Oh, are we online?
They want to know, well, what kind of fast and how many day fast do you recommend they do first?
Don't brain damage it. 40 days and 40 nights. No, I'm just kidding. But if you want to, you can go a long time without food. 1 day's great, intermittent fasting's great, 3 days is great, 2 days is great. A fast is giving your digestive system a break. It doesn't count to give it a break every 3 or 4 hours. And there's still physicians out there and nutritionists out there telling people to eat every 3 or 4 hours. So you want to give it a break. Even if it's you stop eating at 4 and start eating at 11 the next day. You'll start to build ketones, your body will go into a growth response. When the body has a constant stream of calories, it doesn't get to clean itself out. The body is constantly cleaning itself out. And when you stop calories and work coming into the body through the digestive system, it goes into this self-clean, like a self-cleaning dishwasher mode. It starts to break down the old tissue and toxins start to be relieved, but if you're constantly eating, that doesn't get to happen. So intermittent fasting, fasting for 2 days or 3 days or even 1 day or even 4 at night to 11 the next day, all of those are great strategies. But certainly the longer you fast, the better off you are. And then I know someone's going to think this or ask this about supplements when you're fasting. Who's thinking that? Somebody must have been thinking that. People always ask. Supplements aren't going to put a burden on the body because they're non-caloric, but you're still making the body work a little bit, so it's a judgment call. It's not going to hurt you to go 2 or 3 days without your supplements. On the other hand, if you did your supplements, it wouldn't be the end of the world either. The trick is to give the digestive machinery a break, and you're not really burning it with supplements, but if you lay off the supplements for a couple days, it wouldn't matter. So if you're saying, what was the answer to that question? There is no answer to that question. If you don't, go ahead.
They love the 40 days, by the way.
40, all right, cool. Yes.
It might be a loaded one.
Yes.
Flu shots and vaccines.
Look, flu shots and vaccines, you're going to have to make your, flu shots they would be funny if they weren't so terrible. That's the joke they are. So a pharmacist or a chemist or somebody who understands, they don't work most of the time or a large proportion of the time. They give you the flu, they are ridiculous upon ridiculous upon ridiculous. Other vaccines, you're interacting with the community. Look, if vaccines worked, why would everybody need to be vaccinated? Did anybody ever think of that? Once you get vaccinated, you're good. Why does everybody have to get vaccinated? Right? I mean, if your kid's vaccinated, who cares? You're vaccinated, you're protected. So obviously there's a flaw. The proof is very vague, and I'm not convinced that it's ever a good idea to put not only toxic elements into your skin that initiate the immune reaction, but get this. Vaccines are so weak that they had to put extra poison in them to get the vaccine to work better. Vaccines are too weak to initiate an immune response, so they put something in there called adjuvants. Have you heard of adjuvants? Anybody heard the term adjuvants? An adjuvant is a helper. No, it's extra poison. So I personally have a problem with them, as you can tell, but we live in a culture, and you gotta go to school, and you gotta do everything you gotta do. So, that's a personal decision. I don't really consider that to be any of my pharmacy business. Yes.
Outside of glucogel, do you have any other longevity products that you would encourage for acid reflux?
Okay, acid reflux is strictly a food condition. Okay, you're eating the wrong food. Acid reflux is not an acid condition, it's a sphincter condition. And so what you want to do is you want to figure out why that sphincter is floppy. Usually the sphincter will be floppy for either eating the wrong food or outgassings from the intestine or an activated stress response or chronically activated stress response, which can lead back to food. Sugar is a big culprit. Anything that spikes cortisol. You know what cortisol is? Cortisol is your stress hormone. Excuse me. Anything that activates cortisol long-term, chronic activation of cortisol. Cortisol is secreted in body fat, so weight issues can be involved. Not cortisol, estrogen and stress hormones are made out of body fat or made in body fat. So the more body fat you're carrying, the more risk you are. So it's like a lifestyle issue, but it's basically around food. And what's your name? Daniel asked a really good question. So what about acid reflux? This is what I'm telling you. Beyond tangerine, food diary. Don't overthink. Smart people suffer from this disease. You've heard me say this, right? What's the disease smart people suffer from? Overthinkitis. Okay? Don't be an overthinker. All the bodies need the same thing. It turns out with heartburn or with acid reflux, they'll notice there's certain foods that trigger it. So that's a real easy thing to do, but don't underestimate the importance of the entire program that everybody has to do. Do you have something else?
One other thing I saw this thing with Dr. Glidden mentioned one of the last times. You're talking about how like when your stomach reflexes are like from a lack of stomach acid.
That's another issue. The stomach acid is produced, or acid is produced in the stomach. When acid is not produced in the stomach, which happens a lot, especially as we get older, the stomach has to move a lot. Acid also tells the sphincter to stay closed, and under deficiencies of acid, the sphincter will become flabby. And between all that movement in the stomach and the flabby sphincter, which all follows lack of acid, that can also be a problem. So yes, apple cider vinegar can help. Hydrochloric acid drops can help. It's all true. And also acids, when you don't have acid in the stomach, it's like a car wash. You ever see those car washes where you go to the car, you go through the tunnel and the brushes come down and this is here and then this, you get the air here, you know, kind of goes down the tunnel and all the different things happen. That's your digestive system. And so when something gets messed up at this stage here, it throws everything off down here. And when you don't have acid, that can throw off the bacteria in your gut. When you throw off the bacteria in the gut, the wrong ones overgrow, they release gases, and that causes. So these mechanisms are fascinating to me. I don't know, maybe to you too, but you don't need to know them. You don't need to know them. That's my point. You guys get this? You can study the mechanisms. They're great. They're awesome. And they're all coherent and they make sense and they're not magical and they're not superstitious. They're based in biology and chemistry and physiology, but you don't need to know them. Work on the gut, eliminate problem foods, intermittent fasting, stabilize the blood sugar. I didn't tell you about the deep breathing and gratitude and a lot of other things, but you just do a few basic things and your acid reflux will start to disappear. Will it be completely cured? I don't know, because I don't know if he's covered all his bases, but he's going to get out less and less. And he'll begin to feel better and better. And by the way, if you have acid reflux, you're at higher risk for osteoporosis. You're at higher risk for heart disease. You're at higher risk for accelerated aging, visually accelerated aging, and also physiologic accelerated aging. So it's not just the acid reflux that you're noticing that's uncomfortable, it's the acid reflux that's shortening his longevity. And by doing all these steps, you're going to be improving not just the acid reflux, but everything else, and that's our goal. Increasing longevity. Symptom relief you can get with a drug. Our goal is to make people feel better, stronger, and improve their longevity and improve their quality of life while they have longevity. Okay, one more question. No, I get you. Yes. No, that won't happen. Enzymes are everywhere. You have enzymes in food. You know, there's digestive enzymes in food. In fact, many digestive enzyme supplements come from food. So your body is constantly working with enzymes back and forth. That's not good. Okay, good.
Alkaline and Kagan water. You have a
Kagan water and alkaline water. You know, that's a lot to talk about in a couple seconds here. But real quickly, how did God intend us to be alkalized?
lemon.
Vegetables? No.
Lemons.
Lemons? No. How did God intend? It's in the Bible.
Water.
Doesn't say alkaline, but
Water.
no. What's the most alkaline thing we interact with? Not water. Close. What's in air? Oxygen. Yes. We alkalize from oxygen, not from water, not from fruit. I'm not saying you don't want water and fruit, but it's nonsense. It's biochemical nonsense to think that you can alkalinize with water. Now, you will get minerals in some of these waters, and that's a great thing. But the alkaline part you get from breathing, and also breathing out, you breathe out acid. And also, while we're on the subject, when a cell is under stress, or when it's doing its business, not even under stress, but doing its business, it makes lots of acid. And when you work out and when a cell is stimulated to grow, how do you guys get peels? Alpha hydroxy acid peels, or you get peels? Go to the esthetician. Anybody? That's it? Just these? No? So you go to the esthetician, you get acid peels. Acids stimulate growth. You say acid's a good thing, right? Acids stimulate growth. So who's saying that acids are a problem? Well, it turns out that acids are only a switch for turning on growth. In order for that growth to happen, you need to have the opposite of acid. Anybody knows what the opposite of acid is? Alkalinity, but that's exactly right, you need alkalinity, but how is alkalinity carried? How do we get alkalinity? From oxygen, this is the main way, through minerals. Actually elements, and through foods and vitamins. Vitamins work, here's a little tidbit for you, and I don't know why I'm gonna say goodbye, but this is kind of cool. Everybody out there listening in Facebook land, how many people?
Good. 17 out there.
Okay, so what makes things grow is a combination of acid and alkaline. But acid and alkaline are just words. They're colloquial, they're English. I knew you had an English degree, that's pretty cool. That's a lot of reading. Anyway, It's words. We don't really know what that means, acid and alkaline. I'm going to tell you what it means electrically. Acid and alkaline are electrical phenomena. Acid is positive charges. That's what pH is, by the way. It's the amount of positive charges that are spread. You've all heard the term pH, right? Positive charges plus. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into chemistry here.
Yep.
But this is some juicy quantum chemistry, just so you know. I'm going to make it simple. Little pieces of acid are positive charges. Positive charges say, hey, we got to move. We got to get going. There's actually things in cells that pump the positive charges into the cell. You've all heard of these. Anybody heard of the term? Well, by the way, I should tell you this. Positive charges are called, technically, electrically, protons. That's what a positive charge is. Am I okay here, Doc? Making sense? Okay? Positive charges are protons. On the side of the cell, you have a proton pump. Doctors will sometimes give you a drug that's called a what? Proton pump inhibitor, a PPI. Now you know what a proton pump inhibitor is. It's a drug that stops the cell from doing its business. It blocks the protons. But that's not a bad thing. The acid's not a bad thing. We think acid's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Acid turns things on. When you lift weights, where'd Joel go? When you lift weights, Joel, you can get strong. Like Joel, you want to be ripped, you got a contest or something, you want to feel the burn. What is the burn?
Acid.
Protons. You better believe that. So here's the problem. If you just lift weights and you don't come home and do your opposite of protons, what's the opposite of protons? No. Say louder. Electrons. Food is electrons. Vitamins are electrons. Minerals are electrons. That's why we eat. That's why after a workout, you got to do your vitamins and your aminos and your proteins because you're delivering electrons to take care of the protons. And guess what happens? It's the last thing I'm going to say. How you guys doing, by the way? Woo! Right? This is the last thing I'm going to say. What happens when a proton hits an electron? It's called lightning. That's what lightning is in the sky. It's protons hitting electrons. It releases lightning. The same thing happens inside a cell, and that's how you get activity in a cell. You make lightning in the cell with stimulus and nourishment, protons and electrons, stress and neutralization. Thank you very much. That was awesome.